Sean Connery. Stryker's an asshole. Stryker's an asshole. Welcome back to another superpower production of Done Better, the only movie review show that I am in. I'm your host, Harry Potter, and since I was missing for a while, I've decided to try and tackle one of the most hated comic book movies of all time. Nerds rarely align in hatred of anything outside of women in video games and Ghostbusters remakes, but this movie is special. So special that I would never watch this movie again sober. X-Men Origins Wolverine. Now, this is not to be confused with The Wolverine, the movie that no one should recall because of the events portrayed in the movie I am talking about, and also not be confused with X-Men Days of Wolverine's Future Past semicolon Wolverine, the movie that completely nullifies the events of the movie I am talking about, making the movie I am talking about pointless. It's this whole deal, so if you're confused, I made a handy chart that helps you understand the whole Fox/Marvel/X-Men timeline. Check it out. I should really send that to them. They can probably make it less clear for us. This movie is hated and complex and dumb and hard to fix. And I don't mean for the obvious reasons that tend to get nerds all frothy in the Cheeto holes.
They ruined Deadpool. He's the merc with a mouth. He has no mouth.
Listen, sewing Van Wilder's mouth closed is never a bad move. No, this movie is hard because of this.
What's my name? What's my name? Your name is Logan.
Say my name, say my name. If no one is around you, say baby I love you. If you ain't running game, say my name, say my name. You acting kinda shady, ain't calling me baby. Why the sudden change?
Good stories are often about characters undergoing change. Apart from the fact that we already know he's gonna survive whatever he runs across in this movie, obviously, how interesting a story can you tell when we already know he's not gonna even remember it? It's like doing a Han Solo prequel. We know he falls in love with a space princess as a kid and then gets stabbed. How much peril and change can you put him through knowing all that important stuff happens later? What? They're gonna do a Han Solo prequel? Jesus. Yeah, we'll get to that, I guess. This is a huge problem for old Logan, which is too bad because there are a lot of cool ideas in this script. Mutant boxing is fun. Mutants murdering mutants is fun. A Frankenstein mutant murder machine mutant is fun. Super Texas Hold'em is, well, okay, that's dumb. Number 1 through number 99, Wolverine versus Nazis. Done. Okay. But seriously. Number 1, make us care about the present. Bookend this piece of shit. Start this movie in the present, with the Wolverine dealing with the fallout of this unnecessary prequel. Then the whole movie can be a flashback for context and setup. It's the only way we're gonna believe he stands to be in any danger now, knowing he survives all these other fucking movies. Number 2, make it a mystery. And not a dumb one either, a good one. Memories and what that means to our perception and concept of ourselves is one of the best things about Wolverine. In the present, he's a razor-sharp marmot flailing about, no idea of who he is. Back then, he should have the opposite problem. He knows his past. He has tons of past. Oh my god, he has all the past. Make this movie about what piece of it is coming back to fuck him over in the late 70s. And don't tell us or him till the end. It gets sweaty doing this shit. Number 3, kill the kids. Oldie, but a goodie. All these extra mutants just muddy up the script. Weapon X program is about nasty/invincible, impossibly strong mutants beating the ever-living shit out of each other with stabby bits and cutty parts. Focus on that. Lose the kids and you won't have to graft them on a Deadpool later. Hashtag feel the burn eyes. And revolutionary, on number 4, ditch the zero, get with the not zero. This guy's the worst, and you should all feel bad for bringing him along. That was a joke. We're not doing number 4.
Zero.
Intruder! Perimeter breach! Command your weapon!
Okay, number 1. Hey, I have an idea. Let's make a movie about a guy who can't die. We tried multiple times. It's called Superman, and it's apparently very hard to do. Nah, it's easy. We'll substitute out his physical vulnerability with emotional ones. He has no memory. Okay, let's do it. Make sure it's nothing we haven't already covered in 3 other movies, though. That's a real big problem, Origins. When you've already survived the rerouting of the Golden Gate Bridge and bested the greatest mutant threat the world has ever seen, what can you possibly bring to the table? When you've already met someone else's gal of your dreams, developed that special one-sided bond, and eventually have to kill her for her own good, how much are we really going to care about this lady and her Native American folklore? How drastic and perilous can you make a prequel that the protagonist doesn't even have the decency to remember? I remember the f***ing movie. If the Wolverine doesn't have to remember, why do I? God damn it, Fox! Don't put this evil on me, you piece of shit! Start in the present. After the event of X-Men 5, Professor X's colostomy bag, or whatever the hell movie fits on this chart. Put Leaf Schreiber in Pantera wig and have him wear a deer like that guy in X-Men 1, and have shit go down. Remember this scene? Yeah, do that. But again, which is basically the tagline for every comic book movie up to this point. Do that, but again, this time with Garfield. This will make the past events mean something and give us a reason to care about its outcome. Whoever attacks old Logan now should answer why the f we endured an hour and 20 minutes of setup. If we have some bearing on what could come out of that setup, and when you return to the present to culminate that intrigue, the audience will understand why that Origins bullshit mattered in the first place. If this is confusing, look into the future and find that copy of Deadpool that Ryan Reynolds leaked. It's fine. And it does the same thing. And compared to figuring out time travel, understanding how to bookend this bullshit should be a breeze.
Get it on your own. X gon' deliver to you. Knock, knock, open up the door, it's real. With the non-stop pop out from stainless steel. Go hard getting busy with it. But I got such a good heart that I make the mother one day.
Number 2, make it a mystery. We have 2 movies already dealing with the nuts and bolts around the tinfoiling of this Canadian. We know Stryker is a dick who hates gays, mutants, and we know he and Spikes McShirtless have issues. So, make that a piece of the puzzle, but not the whole damn thing. Screw brain-touching, triple-cross girlfriends, and far-flung government intrigue. Mutants from Wolverine's past are getting butchered, and shit, there are tons of suspects. Let's start with the setup. The setup is great. Long ago, some trifling frontiers families were poaching beavers, and suddenly you have 2 mutants with 4 potential parents. Flash forward a few decades, into their terrible 30s, having fought in every major conflict on every continent. Seriously though, guys, World Wolverine. Origins. Bone Clausy. Do it. World Wolverine. Eventually landing with varying degrees of humanity in the employ of that guy from 30 Days of Night and his very special team. Minus 0, of course, because seriously, how f***ing stupid is this guy? Wolverine has, oh man, he's had enough of all this man's inhumanity to man stuff, which World War I and II couldn't seem to do.
Many wars. Understand? Too many fucking wars.
And he's off to Canada to knock fur boots with a school teacher and battle his arch nemesis, inconsiderate Canadian bridge commuter man. I know this is a comic book movie, but let's try and keep it feasible, guys. Mean Canadians don't exist. They're made of maple syrup and concentrated goodness. Mystery time! Get nasty with it. The Hobbit gets got, but we don't know by who. Whom? Him. He got by him. It's whom. We don't know by whom. Hunt his ass down. Have fun with these sequences. How do you murder a guy who can manipulate electricity? I don't know, movie, but figure something out. Grisly murder scene. Suddenly Stryker finds Logan, tells him all about the bodies piling up, and the likely suspect is old Mr. Wearing a Deer. Basically how this starts is fine. Oh, lose the girlfriend. Canada's cold enough and you don't need to keep your female characters in the freezer. I don't think he even tried to go there. This is a man who saw the Battle of Normandy and wakes screaming with bone claws coming out of him. He'd have a hard enough time keeping a cat alive, let alone a cuddle buddy. Let this be the sausage fest it needs to be, and lose her character, and let this be the sweaty, smelly bromance it deserves to be.
So what brings you to our fair city, sir?
Go fuck yourself.
How about instead of not Jean Grey getting fake whacked, what about a whole crew of his fellow lumberjacks getting decimated in the woods by some unknown assailant? Wolverine barely escapes the bloodbath. Shoot it like a horror film. Have fun? Is that okay? Is that allowed? What's the most memorable part of X-Men 2? The scene where Wolverine is smooching the blue lady, or the scene where the movie turns into Commando? Embrace the schlock, Fox. Let it take you in its sweaty, aggressive embrace. After these things come to light, oh shit, it is on. Wolverine may not have liked his very special team very much, but he certainly didn't like his Union pals getting all murdered. Some of that residual sense of duty and revenge would absolutely cause him to step up to help hunt down their killers. He grew up with Sabretooth, play up his brotherly desire to take responsibility for his inhumanity. He saw him showing some concerning behaviors in Vietnam. It makes sense he'd only continue his spiral once Logan wasn't there to keep him in check. Doing this would allow the movie to do something unique, make us interested in what is happening in an X-Men movie. As we travel around discovering the fate of his old team, and they're picked off horrifically and the bad blood thickens, we're more interested in this super mutant plot and who is really behind it. Because it's fascinating. And it's a mystery. We can even end it the same way. Stryker is behind it all along.
She can influence people as long as she touches them.
and he's using his not-so-secret hatred of mutants to fuel a madcap science scheme to create a super mutant Deadpool that he's using to murder damn near everyone. You've seen The Incredibles. Do that same plot. Deadpan Pool becomes this murder machine with an ever-expanding grab bag of powers and is used as a be-all, end-all to mutants everywhere. And definitely so is Mouth Closed. Yeah, I fucking said it. Don't worry, guys. Eventually we go back in time and none of this shit happens, so just enjoy this bizarro version of Deadpool. He has sword arms, cranial staples, and sweet kicks. In any other film, this character would have tumblers and tumblers of fanfic written about him. Talks too much to mouth literally stitched shut is as close as anyone has to an arc in this movie, so embrace it. Sabretooth gets to stay the prime suspect by ruthlessly killing anyone he comes across. Sabretooth don't give a shit. He doesn't know what's up. He's a wild card. He knows mutants are getting the chop and there's only one way to be sure about a person, and that's to tear their spine out. I like Liev Schreiber a lot, but Sabretooth isn't supposed to be overly intelligent, and his total war against everyone keeps Wolverine confused. Shit! Here's something interesting. Convince us that Sabretooth is the bloodthirsty killer. When we get to 3 Mile Island, we think Sabretooth has been on a total warpath, and a drug-out, tooth-and-nail battle breaks out between brother and brother. Revenge is wrought, and it's half WWF, half Animal Planet grudge match. That would give Sabretooth a reason to hate Wolverine in the future, instead of that weird thumbs-up scenario. And then in the future, we see the guy who is actually attacking Wolverine is a freakish Deadpool, free of a handler, cleaning up loose ends. Suddenly there's some weight. Wolverine drove away his misguided brother after coming to the wrong conclusion, and the real killer has been going free for decades, fulfilling his awful Deadpool. Maybe it's a rematch. Fatal three-way. No holds barred. And they kill off deer-wearing Sabretooth and Frankenpool. Kill them all off, actually. There's a lot of comic book movies, and I will say X-Men 3 and this one did something right. I mean, hell, I'm surprised this hasn't killed me yet. Number 3, kill the kids. Again, not literally, but like, why are they here? Understand, if one comic book movie can handle too many mutants, it's this one. Done better, there would be enough body count in here that the next Marvel franchise would have to be Red Wolf, which I just looked up and have never heard of. The problem with this movie isn't the Will.I.am, Blob, Hobbit, or Gambit bits, maybe the Gambit bits, because all these characters, except Gambit, unfortunately, have the decency to show up, provide information, and die horribly. And that body count could make the Deadpool brawl brutal. The problem with kids is, who gives a shit? They're there for a horrific cartoon to show up inexplicably wheelchairless, which is dumb. Also, by removing the kids, Deadpool wouldn't get laser eyes. And without laser eyes, that brawl wouldn't have collapsed the nuclear tower on 3 Mile Island. That would encourage people to invest in nuclear power by avoiding a massive fallout scare and altering the country's energy policy. This policy would have surely changed the course of Peter Dinklage's own gay mutant-hating Sentinel program, and his machines would probably be running on nuclear cores. These cores would have been much more easily exploited by the X-Men in those days of future past that has subsequently passed, rendering this timeline of X-Men completely mute, and this goddamn episode would then be lost in time. Thanks for watching Done Better in this very stupid episode of X-Men Origins: The Wolverine. Before I go, I'll of course be doing a rundown of small bits that I think, if altered, could really have helped make this movie not quite as shitty as it is. Wolverine needs better motivation.
Why?
For every good stunt in this movie, there are 3 Cirque du Soleil ones. If you're gonna do that flippity, floppily, crouching tiger stuff, at least use the appropriate music.
Beautiful roaring scream of joy and sorrow, so extreme. There is love in me, raging alegria.
This man can teleport.
I wouldn't do that if I was you, brother.
That seems incredibly useful. Why is he not solving every problem?
I wouldn't do that if I was you, brother.
Put on music, now you start opening up your personal life to me and tell me your husband won't be home for hours.
So?
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me.
I wouldn't do that if I was you, brother. I wouldn't do that if I was you, brother. I wouldn't do that if I was you, brother. Shouldn't have done that. Now I'm gonna kill you.
You just went and made a new dinosaur?
I know.
Probably not a good idea.
Wasn't my idea.
I wouldn't do that if I was you, brother.
Stryker's an asshole. Maybe stop sending guys who can die from bullets into situations where there are no shortage of bullets. You have, presumably, 3 guys who are impervious to bullets and tank shells. Maybe let them leave the elevator first. Speaking of bullets, give Zero the bullets to kill the Wolverine before you send him off to kill the Wolverine. Actually, you know what? F that. Just remove Zero from this movie.
Those were good people back there. Innocent people.
Some of them were still moving, but then others were like, just totally limp. You give me nothing. To you, I'm just a fucking plaything. An amusement replicating the cries of man. You replay the last moments of my life over and over and over. I'm just a fucking charade.
Well, thanks for watching another episode of Done Better, everybody. I'm just gonna keep making these. You can't stop me, so try. They obviously had those bullets beforehand because they had enough time to make it make a little velvety leather case for it. So were they not giving him the bullets because they needed to make that case, or did everybody just hate Zero as much as I do? It's not a race thing, by the way. I just hate Asians.